Hey everyone, today we're going to be going over target training, BLUP, and Foal games. I'm going to be showing you guys how to do it, and hopefully we'll do it correctly. So this is the horse we're going to be working with today. As you can see, I have him right at the point where you need to start worrying about what you're doing with him. So the first thing you need to do when he's 6 months old is make sure that you register him in a good equestrian center. So what I usually do is I look for 80% cleanliness in both the meadows and the box, and 80% fertility in the meadow. And I want him to specialize in English, so I'm going to make sure that he has all the proper tack. And I'm a cheapskate, so I won't pay very much for an EC. Okay. Alright, so he's only 6 months old, so he cannot do any foal games yet. However, he does still need to be taken care of, obviously, and you need to make sure that he will be in good shape for tomorrow. So right now he needs to eat about 4.4 pounds of food. We're going to, instead of paying for his food, we're going to put him in the meadow, and I'm going to give him under the recommended amount. Because as you go through foal games, you will need to give him more than the recommended amount. And so it's nice to have a little wiggle room and make sure that he's a little underweight to begin with. So the first thing you should do now that he's 8 months old, and he's going to be doing his foal games for the first time, the very first thing you need to do is groom him. This makes sure that he starts off with 100% morale, and will ensure that you can get as much playing time as possible. And then you're going to put him in for about 7 hours. If you have a shower, then you hardly need to follow these rules at all, because the shower will probably make you done about 2 months ahead of schedule. And as you guys saw, I did stroke, drink, carrot, turnip. These three, it doesn't matter which order you do them in, however, just make sure that you do the stroke first. And then you do feed, and since he needs 6.6 pounds of food, I will be giving him 10 pounds. So as you can see, we are now overfeeding him, whereas previously we were underfeeding him. And so now I can put him in for another hour and 30 minutes. And you don't have to follow my foal games, you can follow Dr. Zigs' foal games. She has a really good schedule. I think that mine is easier. It works just the same, but it's easier for me to remember personally. Alright, so as you can see, I did grooming with him one more time, as it is a new day and he's 10 months old. And now we're going to do 8 hours of playing. And stroke, drink, carrot, turnip. And 10, since again he needs 6.6 pounds. And groom. And I have schedules for all these things in my forum if you would like to look. And what we're doing here is you always want to make sure that you're feeding 4 more than the recommended amount. So they're recommending 6.6 and we can't give 10.6, so we're just going to give 10. We don't want him to get overweight, and 10 is all he'll need. And that's a good rule of thumb for when you're doing this. If it asks for 8.8, I believe, then you will give 12. If it asks for 10, you'll give 14. If it asks for 4, you'll give 8. He's a year and 2 months now, so he's almost done. He's getting there. I know a lot of people do more fancy foal games than I do, but I really don't see the point, as they all get the job done the same. Okay, so now he's a year and 4 months, which means that this is the last day of full games that he has. So he's going to start by doing 10 hours and do all these energy gaining things. 12 pounds of food. And you can look here and make sure, see, he can only gain 2.4 more skills, so you need to make sure that he gains all of those, which will take 18 points of energy. And so now he's 30 minutes over his bedtime, but that's okay, it's not going to kill him. He'll be alright. And most full games will make you go over energy or over time limit, unless you have a shower. So I train my mustangs in a really weird way. Pretty much pick a competition that you want to enter your horse in, and then train for that competition. So for my mustangs, I train them in cross country. So I'm going to be doing long rides on the steep slope. And this is all going to be the way that I train. Many people have other ways to train horses, especially ways to train breeds vary a lot. No training schedule is necessarily the right training schedule. So right now we're just trying to, since he can't do anything else, we're just going to be doing lots of rides until he's ready to be trained. Some people prefer to get the training out of the way first, and some people like to do the rides first. I like to do a mix of the two if possible. And I'm putting him in the box now because the box has a lot of different bonus items that you can find, so I like to look for those whenever I get the chance, and it also will give you some energy points, so that's helpful. And I put him in the box for too long, so now we're going to put him in the meadow. Hopefully he won't get fat. I'm actually pretty bad about monitoring my horse's weight. There is a formula, I have it in my forum if you want to look at it. There is a formula to see what weight your horse should be based on how tall he is. I don't use it, obviously, which is real nice, because he's now overweight, which is fantastic. Alright, so now he can do training. So this is the point where if you want to, you can keep doing rides, that's fine with me. I don't care. And also, we're not going to be BLUPing this horse all the way, because I do not BLUP my mustangs completely. It's personal reasons. Sorry to ruin your day. So what I do with him is I'm going to put him on the steep slope for an hour and a half. And then I believe we're going to do 4 hours of jumping training. My phone just vibrated. And he ran across a corn cob, so we can put him in some dressage training real quick too. And I'm really bad on this program. Okay, so I just discovered that it's actually 2 hours for myself, and then jumping for 3 hours and 30 minutes, which works best. So as you can see, we are training a horse for cross country right now, and it's not even a breed whose best skills are those skills, but that's what I do, so sorry if this is messing you up, ruining your life somehow. If this is ruining your life, then you really need to get out more. Stop playing horse so much. Now this is not blupping for a skiller, just for everyone's information. I will be posting another video that is actual blupping for a skiller, but this is just basically your run-of-the-mill breeding type blupping. If you were blupping for a skiller, then you would probably be doing lessons every day, which I do not do with my regular horses because they're not really that level, so they don't need to be doing lessons. This guy is not going to be entering in the Grand Prix or winning any rosettes in his life. So since I haven't gone over this yet, and I probably should have earlier, as you can see I'm training him in dressage and jumping, and I am completely ignoring stamina, which is the other skill for cross-country. That is because when you're entering in a cross-country competition, the cross-country competition will look at stamina first. So that is the qualifying skill, as I like to call it. I'm not sure what it's actually called. And so that is the skill that you should leave untouched. And this goes for training any horse, whether it's a skiller or a foundation horse or whatever you're training. You should always leave that skill untrained. So if you're training in English, for example, then you could go ahead and do speed for every single horse that you're training, because there is no English competition that looks at speed as its qualifying skill. And this horse has not found any bonus items, and it's kind of making me angry. Usually they will have found one by now. You could always put on a Croesus fortune if you want to. I have like 50 of them, but I really hate them, to be honest with you. I have too many, so if anybody wants one, just send me an email, a PM, comment, whatever. I'm always trying to get rid of them. I have them in the exchanges for about 2,000 equus. Fun fact, this horse is named after the most handsome man in the universe. Okay, that's a little bit of an exaggeration. He's a very handsome man. Probably not the most handsome man, but very close. Very close. Most handsome man I've ever met in person. How's that? Sound good? Sound like a good compromise to y'all? So as you can see, we're done with training in dressage and jump, so now we're going to work on entering him into competitions. And this is why we do target training, is because it makes it so much easier to win competitions. Okay, so now that he's no longer gaining in cross-country competitions, we're going to start entering him in gallop competitions, which means we need to train him a little bit in speed. It's always nice when there's a new breed, because you can just enter against that breed, like the new Icelandic horse. and it makes winning a lot easier. And we also need to work on finishing up stamina, so I'm going to work on that as well. Now typically for a horse you would finish up this stamina here, but I'm not going to do that with him. And then also what you would do is you would do the top 3 skills. So for him, for example, it would be gallop, stamina, and speed. But since I'm weird, that's not what we're going to be doing. Okay, so I took a few days off of training Ozaki here, and so since I took a few days off, he had plenty of time to get all of his wins. He got 18 wins overnight, and so he's now done with the winning part of BLUPing, and so now he would be done except for stamina. So in this, if you were training this horse and his top 3 skills really were stamina, dressage, and jumping, you would finish off stamina and dressage and jumping, and then by the time the horse hit 10 years of age, you would be done BLUPing the horse. However, as of right now, this is as far as I'm going to go with this horse, because again, I am very weird with the way that I train my horses. So this guy is done. And in a future video we're going to show you how to BLUP a skiller and how to skill said skiller, and then it will be a little less weird. So please tune in to the next video because it'll be a lot more in-depth with the BLUPing. Thanks guys, bye bye.